Hey Berry Babe, welcome to another episode. I'm so excited you're here. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen and make the best of your life after weight loss surgery. I'm your host Lauren Pete, bariatric nurse specialist, and I'm so excited to be sharing all things weight loss surgery with you. So today I wanted to chat around babies after weight loss surgery. So as some of you may or may not know, I have had 2 babies since surgery. So I have 4 kids total, and I had 2 pre-op and 2 post-op. My first post-op baby I got pregnant when I was 1 year post-surgery, and then the second one, she has just turned 1, so a good 4 or 5 years-ish post-surgery. So I often get ladies in my DMs asking around how to manage with pregnancy after weight loss surgery, and so I wanted to chat about that today. And I'm going to share around my journey as well as some tips and advice and kind of best practice around what should be happening if you're pregnant after weight loss surgery. So some people actually end up having surgery because they want to try and get pregnant, and so that's a really exciting time. Other people accidentally get pregnant after surgery, and some surgeons preach not getting pregnant after surgery. So I just wanted to share the kind of ins and outs and the knowledge that I have with you all around what the right, wrong, sideways, backwards, whatever that looks and feels like. So first of all, there's nothing wrong with being pregnant after weight loss surgery, and babies are generally born fit, healthy, with nothing wrong with them. What is important to know though is that first year after surgery, that is the risky period if you do get pregnant. It's not impossible, it just requires a little bit of extra maintenance and support and monitoring for baby and mum to make sure you remain healthy, because you have got a limited nutritional intake, and so it's really important that you get the care that you need. So making sure that when you first book in with your midwife or whoever's doing your prenatal care, that they are aware that you've had weight loss surgery and how long ago your surgery was. Some midwives are getting really good at working with women who have had surgery, and others don't actually know much about it, and so that's totally okay. I offer a free momentum discovery call for women who are pregnant who just want to chat through the ins and outs, but hopefully this podcast episode gives you some really good insight into what I would talk about if you came to me asking around pregnancy after weight loss surgery. So really excited to share what I know and also my personal experience, because having done it twice, I have a little bit of an insight around some of the struggles also that I face, and everyone's different as well, and what that looks and feels like. So making sure you have a good midwife who understands post-bariatric care is really important, or at least knows to refer you on for extra monitoring, extra scanning to ensure baby's growing well, is basically the crux of it. When it comes to your around 24-ish weeks, they do a glucose monitoring test to check for gestational diabetes. And so it's really important after surgery that you do not do the liquid glucose test by drinking the carbonated bottle that they give out, because it can cause dumping or a really sudden spike in your blood sugars, and your pouch or something does not absorb the sugar like a normal quote normal person would. And so it's really important that we don't do that, because I did it with my first post-op baby and I felt rubbish. So I was like, I've had a sleeve, the research is a little bit mixed, so I tried it. I had to be able to drink the carbonated drink within a minute. That was virtually impossible for me. They're like, we're not going to be able to do this, and I was like, well, what do you want from me? This is before I knew what I know now. And so I did it, and then I sat there I had the shakes, I felt nauseous, I wanted to go to the bathroom and throw up. It was just not a fun experience, and I chose to do the extended one just because of the surgery. I was like, oh, I figure might as well just jump to the big one so that I don't have to do it a second time. But yeah, did not have the gestational diabetes, and it is equally important that you are screened for gestational diabetes. But with my second one, I ended up declining having any of the screening because it was baby number 4, and my justification for me, and this is my personal experience, this is not medical advice right now, was that I actually was willing, I was going to be getting regular growth scans anyway, and so we would have looked into it further in consultation with my midwife if anything had popped up, if baby had been extra big, anything like that. But I decided not to do any of the screening because my risk of developing gestational diabetes was really low because I hadn't had it with any of my other pregnancies. But what is important is that, like, first one is just knowing that if you are sensitive to sugar, it's gonna hit you and really crash. So what to do instead is actually a week of finger pricking. So blood sugar monitoring, and you can actually now get devices that just click into your skin instead that just do testing of your sugars. And that's just to monitor to see what it's doing, whether you're getting any crazy spikes or drops that your midwife needs to be aware of. But basically the diabetes is showing if you're sitting really high, and so when you've got high blood sugars sitting there, that's going to cause for a bigger baby and potentially a more unwell baby because they can't process that glucose as well. And if you do develop gestational diabetes, there is a small percentage of people that go on to develop type 1 diabetes, late onset, which can happen as an adult in your 30s-ish, where you didn't have type 1 diabetes, which tends to be our childhood diabetes, show up when you were a child, but it actually shows up as an adult. And so often that's quite a rocky road to go down, and I do know of a couple of people that have gone through that. Or if you already have a type 1 or type 2 diabetes, then equally important to be monitored for those sugar levels and baby's wellness during the pregnancy. So also, if you're listening to this and you're like, yeah, I am trying to get pregnant, or I am pregnant, congratulations, because it's an exciting time. And I do not want to put you off, but it's just the ins and outs of knowing what should and shouldn't happen. So 1, making sure that you get referred to an obstetrician. 2, making sure that you are getting regular growth scans across your pregnancy, just to make sure baby's getting well nourished and growing well. Basically, the scanning isn't super accurate in terms of once baby gets bigger towards the end of your pregnancy in terms of growth. There's a degree of variance, but they're just making sure that it's kind of tracking similar to what it has been tracking at, and baby hasn't stopped growing or is unusually large caused by gestational diabetes. So there's a couple of things there. The other thing is multivitamins after weight loss surgery. We're very, very strict on them. I really want to emphasize the importance of it. And you're like, okay, Lauren, but that's not what we take during pregnancy. And no, you do need to move on to a high quality multivitamin after weight loss surgery while you're pregnant. That isn't the ones that you're normally taking for bariatric surgery, because they are high in your vitamin A and B, which can, some of the Bs, that can actually cause issues for baby. So we need to just be mindful of that and swap over to something like Elevate, which is a great multi that just has the right levels for pregnancy over bariatrics. I don't know around the absorption myself, to how well they are absorbed after surgery, and I'm guessing the research isn't really done there, but they are your better option that are on the market. I think if you're in New Zealand, the clinicians ones are quite good for the prenatal. So just being mindful of that as well, because we need to make sure that baby and you are getting the nutrients you need, and actually more so than general population, because we need to be getting that folic acid in. And making sure that baby doesn't develop any neurotube defects. So very, very important thing to be looking at, especially in that first trimester. And then, yeah, from second and third trimester, it's around getting scanned and making sure baby's growing well. What else? After my, I guess I can share a little bit more around my journey. So both pregnancies were very different after surgery, especially, I mean, having 2 pre-surgery as well that I can compare to. My morning sickness was horrendous. For all 4 pregnancies, I did not escape that one, and I am very aware that that's not everyone's experience of pregnancy, but for me, the risk of dehydration was definitely tenfold at my daughter when I was pregnant with my daughter Imogen, my 3-year-old, because I just couldn't get in the amount of fluid at 1 year post-op that I needed to keep me hydrated and in the heat of summer and all that fun stuff. And so it's really, that first trimester was rough for me. For both pregnancies post-op, I tend to lose weight because I couldn't keep any food down, and that was hard. Like mentally I was really struggling with being able to keep fluid down, keep food down, and I lost about 5 kilos in my first trimester with both babies. And so be mindful of that. I deem it kind of like the first month after surgery. It's the first trimester of pregnancy is just survive it. Eat what you need to survive it. Drink what you need to survive it. If you have got something like HD, I wasn't officially diagnosed with HD, but I am assuming I probably sat pretty close to it, if not under that. And so sometimes like plain salted crackers can sometimes sit well, but you will work out what sits well for you. Just remember, you're growing a beautiful little human being, and so we need to just be kind to ourselves, and it's not the time to be going on a huge restrictive diet. Once you get to the second trimester, things generally start to improve, and I know for me, I think both of them actually post-op, I wasn't until around that 25 week mark-ish that I was finally able to start eating properly again, rather than just surviving. And so that morning sickness kind of dissipated then, which is great. However, obviously I'd lost a bit of weight, and then you start getting the fluid gain and getting a lot bigger, and then managing moving was probably the biggest thing for the second and third trimester for me, was not physically being able to do too much because obviously baby's getting in the way, and being able to breathe. Third trimester was hard again, so second was great. There was still room, baby's grown, both pregnancies growing really well, and then third trimester was a hard one because I started losing room and not being able to eat as much. And so what I found was that I moved to small meals more often during that third trimester, just to help give me the energy that I needed to, because labour and delivery is no small feat. I think it's like the equivalent of running 2 marathons or something crazy, and it depends how long your labour is as well, but definitely found that having the smaller meals helped me get through then. So just also something to bear in mind if you are struggling with the space and being able to eat very much. But I think the biggest part of my journey after having babies, especially around the weight fluctuations, was I did alright during pregnancy. Some people don't. Some people hold on to a lot of fluid during pregnancy, and that's okay. You're growing a human being. Be kind to yourself. Be aware that these are totally normal parts, and even people who haven't had surgery have these issues going on. But generally after having baby, things kind of go back to normal. For me, after baby is usually the hardest time, especially if you're breastfeeding. When I was breastfeeding, I found that I was hungry all the time and also tired, which meant my natural coping mechanism was going back to eating food that I just needed to survive the day. And so that definitely led to some weight fluctuations for me. Not so much at the 1 year post-op, but with my second post-op baby, my number 4, Aurora, I definitely found that the weight crept on over the year of just coping with mum life. And so I've now gotten past that, and actually I only breastfed till 8 weeks with Aurora, with my 4th, and so I couldn't blame breastfeeding completely on that, but do know that you do get really hungry with breastfeeding, and it's making sure you are reaching for the right snacks that are gonna, 1, help keep your milk coming in, and 2, if you want to breastfeed, and 2, that are nutritionally dense, so that you are fueling your body as well, because your body is going through a whole process, and it is a moment in your life. And so it's really important about being kind to yourself and making sure that you prioritize you. And I know I definitely struggled with that after surgery, after babies, because you feel like you're getting pulled in all sorts of different directions. And so I didn't want to make this all doom and gloom, but I did want to share that my journey wasn't full of all highs. Like, I absolutely love the babies that I have had since surgery and pre-surgery, but I just wanted to share some of my journey so that you, if you are experiencing that, that is totally, you're not alone. I don't think pregnancy after weight loss surgery, there's enough information shared around people's personal experiences, and that's why I'm really taking the time in this podcast to share some of my personal journey after surgery with you, so that you can get an insight into, actually I know that this is normal and this is okay. And so once I gave up breastfeeding, that didn't stop so much of the hunger. I think my body was trying to balance out, but then the tiredness and stuff meant that I started reaching for the snacky foods, and some of the coping mechanisms that I had before surgery, like the fizzy drinks because I deserve it, all those fun stories that kind of pop in, I definitely was using them as a crutch. And so now that I am through the thick of that first year, I have managed to change some habits that had been sneaking back into my life, and I am back down the 8 kilos out of the 9 that I'd gained. So I'm really excited to be where I'm at today, and to know that it doesn't have to define the future, the rest of your journey. And so being authentic here, it is a journey, and having small ones, it's such a small season of your life. I mean, I've been doing it for the last decade with 4 children, but it doesn't last either. And so enjoy the moments. Don't worry about your shape, your size. Do be mindful around what you're eating, because obviously you don't want to gain so much that you end up regretting and resenting everything that's going on to you. But do know that you aren't alone, and that this journey can be absolutely wonderful, and also celebrate the amazing life that you've brought into this world. And it's so amazing to be able to have these little ones, especially if it's something that you've been waiting for such a long time. And so do know that I'm here to support you as the bariatric coach. I get it. I've had babies after surgery. I've had weight loss surgery. I'm a registered nurse. I have lived this journey. And so if you have any questions about babies after weight loss surgery, my first after weight loss surgery, Imogen, she was actually an interuterine growth restriction baby. So she was born small. She was 5th percentile or something, and I do actually put that down to the weight loss surgery. I think she also has autism, and there's a lot going on for her, but I just have found that she obviously she thrived on the outside, and the inside, my body obviously just couldn't give her everything that she needed, and that is okay. And it's not that I failed as a mum, and it's not that you've failed as a mum. It's really around knowing what's best for your babies. And so your journey is going to look different to mine with babies after surgery. There is no right or wrong, but I want you to know that if you can hang out in solidarity with me, that you have got a friend that gets it. So if you do want some extra support, book in that Discovery Momentum call with me. Let's have a chat about your baby after weight loss surgery, and pick my brain, find out any extra information that I didn't cover in this that you really want to know or need to know. Otherwise, if you're like, yep, I've had the baby, I'm breastfeeding, and I'm really struggling with getting in either what I need to be eating or with my weight, reach out. I'd love to have a chat, and let's help get you through this, because I'm here with you. Awesome. Thanks for watching this another amazing episode of the Berry Babes podcast. I hope you've gained lots of insight into babies after weight loss surgery, and I look forward to catching you in the next one. See you later.